flag is used to honor different holidays and occasions. It is also used to remember those we have lost and honor those who serve our country.
So please join us by standing and remain standing for the presentation of the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the 6th grade choir leading us in the national anthem. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
During the early days of the Second Battle of Ypres, a young Canadian artillery officer, Lieutenant Alexis Helmer, was killed on 2nd May 1915 in the gun positions near Ypres. An exploding German artillery shell landed near him. He was serving in the same Canadian artillery unit as a friend of his, the Canadian military doctor and artillery commander, Major John McCrae. As the brigade officer, John McCrae was asked to conduct the burial service for Alexis because the chaplain had been called away somewhere else on duty that evening. It is believed that later that evening, after the burial, John began the draft for his now famous poem, In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields.
today's ceremony and thank you for attending. You're here today to honor our service members and to remember the sacrifices that they have made and the courage that it takes to defend our country.
It was at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918, that a temporary peace or armistice was signed, and the fighting during World War I came to an end. A year later, President Woodrow Wilson announced that November 11th would be called Armistice Day in the United States. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill proclaiming and renaming November 11th as Veterans Day and called upon Americans everywhere to rededicate themselves to the cause of peace.
It is on this day that we officially observe our veterans who served honorably in the military, in wartime and in peacetime. But here at Wabansie Junior High, we think veterans should be thanked and honored every day. Thank you for being part of our celebration for the veterans who have sacrificed and done their duty to serve our country. We hope you enjoy the ceremony.
Up next, we will have the 7th and 8th grade band playing A Salute to America.
American flag. Forever may she wave.
God bless those covered with her as they're lowered to their grave.
We must not take for granted the freedoms that we share and the soldiers that protect us and the burdens that they bear.
Soldiers leave their loved ones to heed their country's call, ready to place their lives in danger, willing to give it all.
Sleepless nights and endless days are common, but they know, without the blood of patriots, the freedom tree won't grow.
Through hail, rain, snow, and heat, blood, sweat, and tears, they march into the heat of battle, pushing aside their fears.
When the physical battle is over, the mental battle begins.
For some it's only temporary, for others it never ends. So pray for all of our soldiers and let us never forget. We can never repay them. We will always be in their debt.
The two words thank you are never enough to thank those of you out there who have sacrificed what you have sacrificed for us. You should be told thank you more often. This is a small, small token of our appreciation for all that you have done for us and for the country. At this time, I would like to introduce our veterans that are here. If you would step forward when I read your name. Our students have something to give you, and if you could stand over here by the flag at the end, we would like to get a picture of all our veterans. Steve Deaver, Army. Ben Webb, Navy and U.S. Air Force. He was in the Gulf War. David Bador, Navy. John Holt, Army. He was in the Korean War. Jim McGregor, Army. Army, Vietnam. Wayne Myers, Army, Vietnam. Skip Keller, Navy, Vietnam. Steve Lira, Navy, Vietnam. Wendell Conrad, Army, Vietnam. Frankie Zeller, Air Force Security Forces. Charlie Gross, National Guard. Tom Rourke, Army, Vietnam. Penny Perrin, Air Force, Afghanistan. Lucas Standifer, Army, Iraq. As I said, thank you is not enough for what you have done for us and for our country. We thank you, thank you, thank you.
Before I introduce our honored guest today,
the tomb of the unknown soldier. 100 years ago today, on November 11th, 1921, an unknown soldier known only to God was placed in a horse-drawn caisson and carried in a procession through Washington, D.C. and across the Potomac River. A state funeral ceremony was held at Arlington National Cemetery's Memorial Amphitheater, and the unknown soldier was interred in the tomb of what is now known as the Tomb of the Unknown. Since then, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier has been a final resting place for 2 other unknown U.S. service members. Not only is it a resting place for the 3 unidentified soldiers, but it also served as a symbolic grave for unidentified or missing in action American soldiers that gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country. So as we celebrate our veterans, I hope you take time today to reflect on the meaning of the tomb and how it represents all of our soldiers who gave to our country. On to our honored guest today, Colonel McGregor entered the Army in 1991 and served for 27 years. He has spent time overseas in South Korea, Germany, Bosnia, Kuwait, Iraq, and Afghanistan. He originally is from Virginia but fell in love with the Flint Hills during an assignment at Fort Riley and now has settled down here in Wabansie County. He currently is serving as Wabansie County's Director of Economic Development. He has many exciting things in mind for Wabansie County, and I personally know that he is a very helpful resource for any business owner out there. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce retired Colonel James McGregor.
I've had the opportunity in my career to speak in front of hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers and senior leaders and politicians and all manner of people, and I never find it to be quite as challenging as talking to young people, so please bear with me. It is a real honor to be here today, and I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to remember all of our nation's veterans. The men and women I served with have been fortunate to experience nothing but gratitude from our fellow citizens, but it hasn't always been this way. Our Korean and Vietnam War veterans were, at best, unappreciated, but more often disrespected. They deserve better, and events like yours today help right those wrongs. So do me one favor and another round of applause for our Korean and Vietnam War veterans. There is another favor I'm going to ask of the kids later. I've spent a lot of time since David Webb called me thinking about what I could say that would mean something to the kids. I could share war stories, but most of those really are not Hollywood material and not all that thrilling. I could tell you about places I've been and things I've seen. Some of the images would amaze you, and others would break your heart. I could talk about all the incredible people I've met, but we have our own incredible people right here in Wabansie County. So I was really struggling with what to talk about until last week, the day after Election Day, it became crystal clear. You've probably all heard by now that one of the most important issues in Wabansie County over the last couple of years has been the future of our schools. I won't go into all the details, and I'm not taking sides, but decisions about taxes, the quality of education, the suitability of classrooms, and what our teachers are doing can become emotional topics pretty quickly. This is important stuff, and for your sake and for the future of our county, it's important that we get this right as soon as we possibly can. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that the solution involves all of us. Unfortunately, last week we had an election, and in one of our school board districts, District 5, no one filed to run. That's right, no one wanted the job. Despite this, 27 of our citizens wrote in names, but 27 is less than 10% of the people eligible to vote in District 5. Now, I don't live in District 5, so I'm picking on it a little bit, But to be fair, in my own district, we barely achieved 20% participation. In district after district, eligible voters voluntarily surrendered something that people in Iraq, Bosnia, Afghanistan, and many other places we've been would literally die to do. Eligible voters, many of whom will become the loudest to complain, surrendered their opportunity to make their voice heard and their opinion matter. Now, our founding fathers saw this coming. They wrote about it. They worried that future generations would fail to do the things necessary to keep our country alive and strong. As the Constitutional Convention was wrapping up in 1787, Benjamin Franklin was reportedly asked what kind of government the delegates had formed. His answer, a republic if you can keep it, answered the question while also warning against ignorance and apathy. In short, our nation cannot continue to exist without the full participation of its citizens. I don't worry about the Chinese and the Russians. I don't worry about terrorists. I worry about us giving this away. So here's my challenge to you. To quote the last words of the main character in the movie classic Saving Private Ryan, earn this. If you really want to thank those of us who served in uniform, I'd ask you to do 3 things. First, value your education and make the most of the opportunities that the teachers give you each and every day. There are literally millions of children around the world, and I've met hundreds of them who would love to be in your seat. Second, inform yourself on the issues that matter in your community. And third, be an active citizen, not just a bystander. When you grow up, you can become a doctor, a rancher, an electrician, you can start your own business, whatever you want to do. And that's a great start. But the nation needs you to do more than that. If you neglect the near sacred duties that define a free society, like voting and jury duty and community service, you're missing out, and to be honest, you're letting others down. If you really want to thank a veteran, don't shy away from these responsibilities when you're our age. Now, most of you guys are thinking, I'm not an adult yet, why is he telling me this? So here's why. Since I was your age, and that's been a few years, the number of people who have died in fatal car accidents has been cut nearly in third. Since 1981, more than 350,000 people have been saved simply because they wore a seatbelt. Countless others are alive today because less people drink and then drive. For years before 1981, the government had been talking about these issues, but year after year, people kept dying. Things only changed when kids your age started asking their parents and their grandparents and their other loved ones tough questions. Things only changed when kids your age organized around programs like Students Against Drunk Driving. When kids your age start holding adults accountable, things change. Maybe you can't vote yet, but this doesn't become your country when you turn 18. This is your country today. It is never too early for you to be involved, and we, the adults in the room, will always be better off if we take time to listen to your perspective. You can make a difference. So that's it. That's the challenge. That's your homework assignment. Be grateful for what you have. Learn everything you can about issues that matter and find ways to be active in your community. Nothing would make a veteran feel better about their sacrifice than to watch you make this country better. You can do it. In fact, we're counting on it. Again, I want to thank you for your time today and for this great ceremony, particularly the music. The music adds wonders to all kinds of events. And I appreciate everything you've done for our veterans. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
I walked through the county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "Nah, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole is leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat." And I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware, and it got powder burned the night Francis Scott Key sat washing them wagons taking you see. And it got a bad rep in New Orleans with Pacquiao and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell down beside the Texas flag. She waved on them. She got cut with sword at Chancellorsville. She got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee of Your Garden Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships upon the briny foam, and now they've about quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land, here she's been abused, she's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare and wearing thin. She's in good shape for the shape she's in, because she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, we take her down every night, we don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her upright. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
I would like to recite the words and give you a definition for each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, allegiance, my love and my devotion to the flag, our stand. freedom is everybody's job. Of the united, that means we have all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride, and dignity, and purpose, all divided by imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common cause, and that's love of country, of America. And to the Republic, a sovereign state in which power is invested into the representatives chosen by the people to govern, and the government is the people. And it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power for one to live his own life without fears, threats, or any sort of retaliation, and justice. The principle and qualities of dealing fairly with others, for all. That means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine.
My daddy was a soldier in a foreign war, but he doesn't like to talk
If you'll please stand while we honor our fallen by laying a wreath at the flag.
You may be seated. To the men and women in uniform, past, present, and future, we can never thank you enough for the sacrifices that you and your families have made to defend this great country of ours. Home of the free, because of the brave. We say thank you. This concludes today's ceremony. You're invited to refreshments in the lobby. Have safe travels home, and thank you for coming today. Thank you.